looking to throw it, and he's got the touchdown! Here's Brady's pass. It's Gronkowski! Oh, Max strips it! He is unbelievable!
Super Bowl 57 is in the books. The end of the 2022 season. Okay, first of all, that's just weird saying that, and that's crazy. Is that not?
Yeah, that's pretty crazy.
What? Welcome to the Tabor Gridiron Podcast. I'm Steven, here again, once again with Ethan. Say hi, Ethan. And Isaac, as always. You can like us wherever you get your podcasts. Follow us. That's the best thing for us. I encourage you to do that. Pass it around. We've had some great interviews this year. Highlight Coach Tony Dungy. Man, that was awesome being able to talk with him, get some insights about when he was in the Super Bowl. That's really cool. I'd encourage you to check that out. As various other players as well, and then reporter Michelle Tafoya. Was that not awesome, Isaac? Mm-hmm. Being able to talk with her as well. So yeah, definitely follow us, like us, and go back and listen to some of those interviews. They were really, really cool and encouraging to us and getting some cool information as well. Okay, Super Bowl, we're all excited for it. We're all ready for it. You got the Chiefs, you got the Eagles. I really didn't care so much really who was going to win this one. I just really wanted a good game. Both of these teams have won recently. I really was hoping for the Bengals to make it. 49ers have won a bunch as well. I'm happy for the Eagles. I think that's great. Eagles and Bengals, I would have been going for the Bengals. I didn't really care, but I was going for the Eagles in this one. I kind of figured the Chiefs were going to be able to take it with the way that their offense has been playing, but then the defense of the Eagles has just been on fire. Jalen Hurts and the offense. Really, at the beginning of the year, Isaac, if you remember us talking, when the Eagles were just plowing through and winning so many, we're like, are they legit? Are they really the team to beat right now? Because they kind of had an easier season, right? Mm-hmm. But then as the season progressed, and then all of a sudden you got into the playoffs, or towards the end of the season, and then the end of into the playoffs, and how dominant they were, and then getting to the Super Bowl, I was like, you know what? They might be able to pull this off. I kind of was the lone guy going for the Eagles here. Everybody was going for the Chiefs. You were going for the Chiefs, right, Isaac?
Yeah, I was going for the Chiefs.
And then, Ethan, you were going for the Chiefs. All right, Super Bowl happens. They're battling it out. Who won, Ethan?
Chiefs.
Tell me about this.
This was a pretty decent game. Chiefs and the Eagles. The first quarter, the Chiefs were losing. The Eagles were on top. The Chiefs just went on top, won that game in the fourth quarter. It was a great game.
It was a great game. Yeah, nice job. Yeah, the Chiefs were definitely struggling at the beginning. It was kind of a tale of two halves. In the first half, the Chiefs were struggling and the Eagles were doing really good. And then the second half, in the third and the fourth quarter, the Eagles were struggling a little bit, and the Chiefs just did really, really good, right?
Yeah.
Patrick Mahomes did hurt his ankle a little bit, but he came back and he was able to play, and they pulled out on top, right?
Yeah. So, and then the playoffs. The playoffs were good. The Super Bowl was good. The Pro Bowl was good. All the football games were good.
You know what? They were. We had a really fun season this year watching some stuff, didn't we?
Yeah.
Yeah, the Pro Bowl games, which were last week, that was fun to watch. Those guys playing and playing dodgeball, right? Yeah, and doing that, all the different games.
Everybody had to dodge the balls, AFC versus NFC. NFC was losing at first, but NFC just came on top and won that Pro Bowl.
Yeah, well, 'cause they did all the flag football and stuff too, right? Yeah, absolutely. All right, so Isaac, we're going into this. Were you like diehard, like I want the Chiefs to win? Were you kind of, because I know you wanted the Bengals to get there as well. So tell me a little bit about where you were at with this and what kind of happened on Sunday.
Yeah, so originally, like with the championship round, I wanted 49ers and Bengals. So both my teams that I wanted didn't get in. So I really didn't care at this point. Everyone was going with the Chiefs, so I thought, hey, why not? I'll just ride with the Chiefs. And going in, I didn't really have a team I was really wanting to win. Like the Chiefs already won a lot, and everyone likes them, so I thought I might as well just do that. Eagles, I don't really like the Eagles in general, so I thought, yeah, honestly, I was just kind of going for the Chiefs from that aspect.
I really wanted just a good, entertaining game, and I figured it was going to be a high-scoring game, and it did end up being a higher-scoring game for a Super Bowl. I mean, 38-35, that was good. That was a lot of fun, right,
Yeah,
Ethan? To be able to watch multiple touchdowns.
That was the fourth quarter when the Chiefs won.
Yeah, exactly.
38 Chiefs at 38.
Yeah.
Eagles at 35. If the Eagles scored a touchdown, they would probably go on top.
Yep.
Win the game.
They could have won the game, and they didn't. The Chiefs did a really good job. Now, with the Eagles, and the reason I was going for them is the way that the defense was playing, it really could, a lot of people say defenses win championships. And could the defense of the Eagles shut down Patrick Mahomes? And for the most part, they did in the first quarter. They did a really good job, and the offense of the Eagles was just on fire, and the defense of the Chiefs had no answer. Jalen Hurts was doing an absolute phenomenal job. And then, on the other hand, I kind of wanted the Chiefs to win because it's been, 5 years in a row they're at the championship game, Isaac? Mm-hmm. And then, this is their second Super Bowl. They won one of them already. And for Andy Reid, for the Chiefs, to sit there and go all right, you keep getting to this point. You need some championships to show for it. You need some trophies. Are you really that good? Or do you just kind of get to this point and then flop down? And so I think for Andy Reid and how good of a coach he is, hands down, even if they lost, he's an amazing coach. But I think this just kind of put another, feather in the crown there of just how good he really is and the leader that he is, and just the Chiefs as an organization and all the players coming together. It was a good win for them, and I'm not disappointed that they did win for where we were at and how good they played. I don't know. Patrick Mahomes won the MVP, so the most valuable player for the Super Bowl. So I don't know that he really deserved that.
No, I don't think so either.
I don't think Patrick played that well. I think he did enough. Yeah, he was fighting through an injury. And in that sense, I'm starting going did he just get MVP because he was fighting through an ankle injury and he made plays when he needed to? If the Eagles won, Jalen Hurts, hands down, was going to win MVP because he was just on fire. 27-38, 300 yards, 3 rushing touchdowns, first quarterback to do that. Mm-hmm. He was just, it's doing so good. He also had a fumble. You can almost say Jalen Hurts kind of could have won this game, and he also lost the game a little bit because he doesn't get that fumble. They don't get that touchdown. Chiefs aren't winning, Mm-hmm. And so on the other hand, you had Patrick Mahomes. Yeah, he threw 3 touchdowns. I would really say if you're going to have an MVP, the defense of the Chiefs that really stepped up and changed their whole game plan to be able to contain the Eagles' offense in that second half. Now, you can't give an MVP award to a whole defense. I get it. Most of the time, a defensive guy is not even going to get it. It's going to go to the quarterback or a receiver, somebody on the offense. But I was impressed with how the defense was able to keep the Eagles kind of in check to allow the Chiefs to get back into it. The Eagles had their opportunities. Both teams did. But the Chiefs come out on top.
Yep. And they just dominated the Eagles.
Yeah, in that second half, in the fourth quarter, they sure did. Then there was the penalty, Isaac. Mm-hmm. At the end of the game, what do you think about it?
I think it was pretty fair. I think, I don't know. You can kind of go back and forth on these kind of penalties because obviously if you remember back in the championship game, there was a penalty not similar to that, but of that nature of where it's controversial and where it can go back and forth. I don't know whether it was right or wrong. I think it did affect the game, but it was definitely a controversial call.
So that is hard. Was the call right? Sure. Yeah. Could you have easily have called it? 100%. Could you have easily not have called it? Sure. 100%. And there weren't a whole lot of penalties throughout the game. And so part of me was just kind of let them play. It wasn't a deciding penalty for the Chiefs. It was a deciding penalty for the Eagles. And that's just when they are those game-altering penalties, that's so hard. The Chiefs would have kicked a field goal either way and would have been on top. But it would have allowed some time, a little over a minute, for the Eagles to have the ball and to see what they can do. And were the Chiefs able to stop them? Were the Eagles able to score? It didn't determine who was going to really win at that point, but it gave the Eagles an opportunity. Would have made the game a little bit more fun and entertaining. But that penalty that did happen then just kind of eliminated the Eagles having the ball or having a chance for it. But on the flip side, you have to look at it and go like, yeah, he was holding. He did hold him, and that is part of the game. I just hate when games do end on those kind of penalties, and that's what's hard.
It is pretty hard, and it is like, in the sense of, like you were saying, the holding, it, like you said, it could easily be called and it could easily not be called. And also just in the general with the game, there was so little penalties that one, it could have easily been not called and you would not have noticed. But when it did get called, it stuck out a lot because there was just this general not throwing a lot of penalties, a very loose, very kind of just fun game. And when this penalty kind of made more of like an uproar, because we've seen in the season when there are games and there's just tons of penalties, a lot of these penalties just kind of fall away and you're kind of expecting it. But for this one, it was very apparent and you kind of just, it hit you. And honestly, it was a very altering call, obviously. And yeah, I don't know really where I stand on that one. That was crazy.
I think you're right, though. They're just hard when there isn't a whole lot, and then all of a sudden there is that glaring yellow flag, and you're just like, really, right now? And then you do see it, and you're like, yeah, he kind of was holding. The ball sailed over his head. Did it really affect the play? Could you? It's really hard when there are those game-altering ones. And again, I didn't really care who won or lost. It would have been the same way if it was against the Eagles, or allowed the Eagles to win and against the Chiefs that way. And I just want some good, clean football and fun football. Guys are grabbing each other all the time and doing things. I want them to just play sometimes. I didn't think that it was so blatant where throwing a penalty there, especially just when it's so game deciding. But again, each team kind of had their opportunities, high scoring. That's what was fun, just to be able to have the offenses doing their things. I want to talk a little bit about Travis Kelce. Okay, everybody knows the ball's going to Travis Kelce, right? At some point in time, or he's going to get a touchdown. And the fact that nobody can stop him. I mean, you're in the Super Bowl, and he's scoring a touchdown. Like, I just don't understand. Is he just that good? Are these teams just kind of like have no answer for him? He's been in the league for a while. It just seems game after game we keep watching and nobody has an answer to stop Travis Kelce. Ethan, what do you think? So Travis Kelce, the tight end for the Chiefs, he always catches the ball. Guys can't tackle him. They can't block him. Why is he so good?
Because the team makes him so good.
Yeah, it's the team. Yeah, you know what? I think you're right. I think just the whole team as a whole, the coach does a really good job. And then he's got Patrick Mahomes throwing him the ball, right?
Yeah. Patrick Mahomes is a really good quarterback, so Travis Kelce has to get it because he's a really good Chiefs player, and Patrick Mahomes is a really good quarterback, so
yeah,
it's 100% that Travis Kelce's going to get the ball.
You're right. It's pretty much what's going to happen. Isaac, what's the answer?
I don't know. And with Travis Kelce, he's insane, and I don't know how to say otherwise. Like, it is like we've seen with quarterbacks, we've seen like Lamar Jackson for his like first year or two, he was just this insane quarterback that nobody knew how to stop him. But by his third, fourth year, it's just like everyone's seen him and they've been able to kind of see how he plays, and he was able to, and people just kind of, and the defenses just found a way to stop him because he only runs, and when you pressure him into throwing, he's not as good. As far as Travis Kelce, I don't really know what the answer is because he's been in the league much longer and people still don't know how to stop him.
Yeah, it is crazy. I think two really defining moments of the game were the Jalen Hurts fumble and then the run back, the punt run back that the Chiefs had that put them into just really good field position, and they scored a touchdown very quickly. You eliminate the mistake by Jalen there. You eliminate the special teams mistake of being able to contain the punt. It's a totally different game. And I think so many games are like that, where there's just those one or two plays that really decide this game. Both teams, I think, were equally matched. It wasn't just a blowout one way or the other, and it was really entertaining. and Super Bowl 57. Can you believe that it's been 57 years of Super Bowls? Could you imagine being at the first Super Bowl, Ethan? Super Bowl one.
Mm-hmm.
Wouldn't that be kind of fun to be at? Could you
Yeah.
imagine being at that? I was just looking that up here. Super Bowl one, Isaac, 1967.
Whoa, that's a
Yeah.
long time ago.
Green Bay Packers and the Kansas City Chiefs.
Really?
Yeah. Packers won, clobbered the Chiefs all over them,
Wow.
35-10. It was actually the NFL and the AFL, the American Football League, and the NFL, and the Kansas City Chiefs, Green Bay Packers, World Championship, which ended up becoming Super Bowl one at the Memorial Coliseum in Los Angeles. Just wouldn't that be cool? Like, just back then, just think about old school football, and
That
then
would be
boom,
crazy.
Super Bowl one's created, and
Yeah.
that's just
It would be cool if we had like the Packers and the Chiefs made it back again and they did it at like SoFi Stadium. That would be pretty cool.
yeah. That would be pretty. Yeah, could you imagine that?
That would be crazy.
57 years of Super Bowls. It's a lot of fun, and this next season I think is going to be. Well, you got Tom Brady retired. So we're not going to be seeing him.
Aaron Rodgers.
Who knows
even
what Aaron
knows?
Rodgers is going to do? You got Derek Carr no longer on the Raiders.
Yes.
Different players, different people are going to be coming into the league. You got the Bears with the number 1 draft pick. What's going to happen with that? Are the Bears going to trade that pick and get something out of it? Get some trades, or are they going to pick somebody? Do you get rid of a quarterback? Do you get rid of Justin Fields and draft a quarterback? Do you not? So I think it's going to be fun, kind of the offseason, seeing what's going to happen, the schedule that happened. You got just all the different, some of the overseas games and just all the schedules and things like that is going to be a lot of fun. I can't believe, Isaac, we've just been talking week in and week out about football, diving in, having guests on, bringing in people, coaches and players, and all just kind of different people talking about the game. And now we're just rapidly coming to that end where you're like, yeah, you're excited for the playoffs. Then you're like, shoot, no, the playoffs are here. And then in the Super Bowl, and then it's over, right?
Yeah, it is kind of disappointing when these things happen and you have to and you're like, what do we do now on Sundays? But it gives you appreciation for football, and it gives you kind of like the sense of like, wow, this is really a gift and it's really nice. And as far as like us, we've been talking for a while. We've had lots of guests on. We've definitely, I can see like the progress we've been making. It's been a journey. It's been a journey for sure.
So the commercials this year for the Super Bowl.
Last year's was better.
I can't even sit here and tell you right now, like, boom, right on the spot, what's your favorite commercial? I'd be like, I gotta like look at a list and almost see, and I could be like, hey, that was kind of cool. Oh, that was cool too. I wasn't very impressed. I didn't laugh a whole lot. I wasn't like, that's just awesome. I was just kind of like, what's going on?
Half of them made me not want to buy the product.
The Sylvester Stallone one was pretty cool and fun for me. That's just, I'm a Sylvester Stallone. How could you not be? I mean, I grew up watching him.
Snoop
Rambo
Dogg Skechers was pretty funny. That one was, that was decent.
Again, they were just kind of like, there weren't any cool commercials. Was there a cool commercial you remember, E?
No.
Yeah, you're the same with us. We're all like,
he doesn't even remember.
We're all like, huh? So I don't know. I mean, you got these guys spend a ton of money on all these commercials, and
that's what they come up with.
We don't even remember any halftime show. I'm not a big halftime show fan at all anyway, so I don't even like to talk about them. And I mean, since I'm a huge football fan, we've been talking about football for years as well, and a lot of people get together for the Super Bowl for the food and the fellowship, and a lot of people just get together to watch the halftime show. They can care less about football and whatnot. I'm a football fan. I want to watch the Super Bowl. I want to watch these guys battle it out. I can care less about who's playing at the halftime show, what the halftime show is, things like that. Was it that entertaining this year? To me, not really. A lot of people do think so. Again, I just like watching the football and game and watching these guys battle it out. It did get it down to the end. Prior to that penalty, it was kind of a nail biter. It started to have a little bit of tension. Again, I didn't care who I was going for, but I was going for the Eagles, and it was a little nervous, right? Like you were at the end in the fourth quarter, and you were like, "Can the Chiefs do it? Can they win?" It was a tie game. Remember, the Eagles tied it all up, And then before the Chiefs kicked the field goal, you didn't know who was going to win, right?
And my favorite commercial was one of them in the playoffs. Two of them. The two trailers for the Mario movie.
Oh, you know what? You're right. Yeah, the Mario movie. I'm looking forward to the Mario movie.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to that.
I think that's going to be super cool, right? Yeah, the Mario movie is going to be just off the chain chomping awesomeness.
Yeah.
Yeah, you like what I did there?
And I even have the money for it.
Oh yeah, because we're gonna go see it, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's gonna be awesome. I'm looking forward to that. So yeah, I agree with you. Mario commercial during the playoffs, that was a lot of fun. Super Bowl commercials, yeah, not so much. These guys got to put their money somewhere else, I guess. At least to me, it didn't appeal. It didn't make me want to go out and buy a bag of chips or something. Or I don't know. All right, Isaac. Well, we're gonna have to break down some football. Kind of have to keep an eye on what's going on in the offseason, right? What's happening? What's happening with the draft picks? What's going on? Who's picking up who? What team's playing? What team? Who's starting the season out? All that kind of cool stuff. We'll get into the preseason. It's just going to be super cool to kind of see. But right now, there's kind of that football drought. But there's enough news happening for us to kind of stay up to date in what's going on. We'll share when we can, what we can. And I think it's going to be super fun talking about next year football and diving in. Who's going to make the playoffs? Do you think the Eagles are making back to the playoffs, back to the Super Bowl? You think the Eagles can get back to the Super Bowl, Ethan?
Yes, and if it's Eagles, Eagles.
Yeah, I don't know if the Eagles can. I don't think we're going to see them back in the Super Bowl.
No, I think they're going to pull I don't know if they're going to do
Can
a
the
whole,
Chiefs get back there? Sure. If they lose a lot of players and coaches and whatnot, I don't know.
That's what happened to the Rams.
But if Andy Reid's sticking around, I think we're going to see a lot of the Chiefs still. But I really do think that Buffalo's going to be building and getting who they need. You're going to have the Bengals getting who they need. And I think really soon, within the next year or two, it could be this next year, we're going to see a Joe Burrow Bengals Super Bowl. They're going to be champions. They've just been on fire the last couple years, and they just kind of keep falling short just right at the last second there. I think they're going to be able to pull it out, and I think that's going to be a lot of fun to see. Teams that are struggling, you look at the Bears, who are the worst team, the worst record right now to get the number one draft pick. I don't see them turning things around anytime soon.
No.
That's going to be a several-year rebuilding. The Rams, that is going to be interesting to see what happens. You win a Super Bowl and then you flop. How do you turn back around and get things going? I just want to see some good football. It's going to be different this year, again, with different players, different people. Tom Brady is officially retired.
Yes.
Dun dun dun. We think, right? I mean,
Until
are we going to be starting?
Are
we going to be starting like next season and be like, and once again, Tom Brady is out? No, there's no way. Tom, stay retired. We loved watching you. Hats off to you. It's been an absolute amazing journey for all of us to watch you and to watch the teams that you've been leading and watch your leadership and watch your skill. But just stay retired now, right? Like just stay retired. All right. Well, again, like us wherever you get your podcasts. Follow us, like us, share us, all that kind of good stuff that helps us out. Ethan, thanks so much for joining us and tagging in these last couple weeks. Love having you on. I'll have to come back again, right? Yeah, Isaac, it's always fun.
It's always fun.
Absolutely. All right. We'll see you next time.
Bye.
See ya.